and welcome back to the Myth Within. I'm Dr. Tom, and I'm very grateful that you joined me here today. We're going to start back with the Myth of Daedalus, a tale we've been exploring for the last week or so. And this tale really talks about the nuances so common to moral commandment and prohibition, the polarities common to the archetypal forces of the father. Daedalus says to his son, Icarus, my son, I charge you to keep at a moderate height, for if you fly too low, the damp will clog your wings, and if too high, the heat will melt them. Keep near me, and you will be safe. While he gave him these instructions and fitted the wings to his shoulders, the face of the father was wet with tears, and his hands trembled. He kissed the boy, not knowing that it was for the last time. Then rising on his wings, he flew off, encouraging him to follow, and looked back from his own flight to see how his son managed his wings. As they flew, the plowman stopped his work to gaze, and the shepherd leaned on his staff and watched them, astonished at the sight, and thinking they were gods who could thus cleave the air. A lot of symbolism's present in this part of the myth. We see Daedalus charging his son with the instructions that are needed to assure a successful ascent. As a father, I believe it's my duty to raise the next generation, my children, to successfully ascend to the nature of their dreams. While I may have specific goals for my children, and that's a perfectly natural phenomenon, it's also our job as a parent to assure that they create, manifest, plan, and implement that plan into action, a means for them to achieve whatever dream they may have. And really, we see in this myth the nuances that exist between parent and child, father and son, and the means by which one's dream becomes the other's burden. And so in Daedalus's need to escape the prison he created, he charges his son to escape with him, to fly high on the wings that they create. And he warns his son of two nuances. If you aim low, your wings will clog, and it will surely lead to your demise. But if you aim too high, your wings will melt, and they will be taken from you, and you shall plummet. With a tear, he looks to his son and says goodbye, and kisses him goodbye, not knowing that it'll be the last time that he's able to be in his presence. And as they begin their flight, as they begin their ascent, he looks back upon his son, making sure that he's there and following the instructions he is given. How many times do we do this as parents? How many times do we give our children warnings about what to do or not to do? Part of our parental obligations is to instill a healthy sense of fear into children in order that they may navigate their environment in a successful manner. If a child's not afraid of an object moving at them at 35 miles per hour that has 16 wheels, they may not live long enough to realize the fruition of their dreams. So as we watch with loving amazement our 2-year-olds running across the sidewalk and they begin to dart to the streets, we bellow at them, much like the father archetype of the wind in the north wind of the sun that we looked at would. They bellow and stop, look both ways, and the child looks back startled and realizes, oh wait, there may be danger. Now, this is a natural symbiotic relationship that occurs between parent and child. When the child becomes very attuned to a parent, both a mother and a father's voice as it relates to danger or stranger danger. And this happens when they begin to walk and they may take one or two steps forward, but always make sure the safety and security of their parent is there, or the object that they find of most secure value. And it's really our job as parents to instill a healthy dose of this fear, to warn of the environmental dangers that are there if we ascend too high without a firm foundation. Now, children get this at an elemental basis. They understand when they fall that they need a secure attachment. So that's why they may take one or two steps forward, look back, make sure that that secure attachment's there, and then go for another two or three. But as anyone who's ever raised a 2-year-old knows, they could dart because now they have this sense of independence, the sense of autonomy from their parents, because they practice and they always know that their parents are there, but they don't quite know the true danger of what lurks possibly in the street because they haven't been exposed to that yet. So through repetition, we create the means by which the foundation is built to successfully ascend. And this really becomes the job of us as parents to instill this foundational elements of survival present. What is dangerous? What is not? What is good, what is bad. And these become the very polarities, such as ascent and descent, that our story talks about, but also becomes the very means by which self is realized by working this ideal of what allows us to be autonomous and free versus what holds us back and constricts us. Aim low and the wings will clog and you will fall. Aim high, and if you don't have a firm foundation, you may just have the wings melt. Now, there's a special nuance present in this story where I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. Aim high, achieve high, shoot for the moon, land amongst stars. But what I think the story is getting at is that if we fly too high without a firm foundation present, much like trying to build the penthouse of a skyscraper without building the floors leading up to it, that is going to fall. So you have to have a firm foundation. You have to descend at least as much as you ascend. And in that descent, you build the psychological strength, the inner goal needed to ascend to whatever height is there. Now, I welcome your comments. This is an exploration of fatherhood. It's also an exploration of being a parent in its essence. While there's a lot of special nuances in this story, and while I focus on fatherhood solely because I am a father and I have experiential capacity around that subject, I do welcome and I do honor the other aspects of the feminine into the story, even though the story doesn't necessarily have that at this time. We will begin to see it later when the descent occurs as the wings melt. But I welcome all sides of the equation because in the end, what we're doing when we explore these myths, when we explore the symbolism behind the myth and the paradoxes present, we begin to see that really it's not two opposing forces that are present. It's really a form of unity that's trying to mend itself, much as when the skin gets cut, it begins to pull itself back together. Now, while it may leave a scar, that uniting force is the story by which we make sense of the life lived. I welcome your comments, and I thank you for listening. And I wish you namaste. And may blessings find you as you advance confidently in the direction of your dreams. Thank you.